Hi everyone, welcome to another video on AMH2020 blog assignment. I do recognize that in the last video I did not show you how to format and submit your thesis statement as well as your sources, which is the first assignment that is due. So before we jump into anything else with this video, I'm going to show you what that should look like so that you can go ahead and have that information to submit your assignment before you move on. Now, what you're looking at here is my sample of what your assignment should look like when you submit it. You're going to basically submit your assignment as a Word document in D2L, and I'll show you where that assignment is located shortly. But the first thing you're going to notice is that you have all three group member names at the very top there so that we know who should be assigned the grade that is received for this particular assignment. Then you have your professor's name, you have the course number AMH2020, and then the date should be dated for the date of submission. This is the title that you'll put in the center, which is blog assignment, thesis statement, and sources, so that we know what we're looking at. And then just briefly, you can see my thesis statement that I created during the last video presentation, which is just my two-sentence thesis statement that I showed you the process on how to create that. And then right underneath my thesis statement, I just have two citations in MLA format for which sources I'm using. That is all that is required for this assignment. The only thing that I would do to change this particular format here is to provide a hanging indent to these citations because that is what's required for MLA and APA. So all you would have to do is highlight this, right click on your trackpad or your mouse, go down to where it says paragraph, and then make sure that you go to where it says indentation right here, and then click on the special drop down list here and click hanging. And what that will do is it will create a hanging indent for my citations, and that is all that is required for this assignment. So when I'm looking over your blog assignments, the only thing I want to see is the group member names, course number, professor, and date. I want to see your thesis statement, just two sentences, no more. And then I want to see two sources that you're intending on using when completing this blog assignment. That is all that should be included. In total, this is one single page. So I hope that clears that up, and I hope this is helpful for you guys when submitting the assignment this coming weekend. Alright, so now that we have that out of the way, we're going to go into how to create the blog within Microsoft Sway. Microsoft Sway is the online application that your group will be using to create and submit your blog post for this assignment. So, before you even get into Microsoft Sway, the first thing that you need to do is draft and edit your blog using Microsoft Word. Word is going to be the simplest application that you have available to you that will allow you to share your sentences, share your work, your ideas with your teammates, and make sure that all of it is written out cohesively before you start editing anything in Microsoft Sway. So that would just be one point or one tip that I would suggest for your entire group is that you do not start writing your blog within the application itself. Try to write your blog as a draft in Microsoft Word first and then transfer all that information into Microsoft Sway because it'll make your process a lot easier. We're going to go into how to access Microsoft Sway from your Broward One login, and then also how to allow your team members to edit the blog in Microsoft Sway. So let's look at that. Alright, so just like within the last video, if you are in your One Login Broward College One Access page, you'll see a couple of tiles here. The one you should be clicking on is Office 365. If you don't see Office 365, simply go to Company Everything, and there will be the Office 365 right here. Go ahead and click on that. This is what allows you online access to Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and a lot of other Microsoft products that the college provides to you. This is all going to be completely online, but you can install Microsoft Office to your personal laptop if that is something that you are able to do at this time. It is free for you so long as you are enrolled at the college. There are going to be a couple of tiles up here that you can see that have different Microsoft applications. One of them is Microsoft Word, as I mentioned earlier, PowerPoint, as well as Excel. The one you want to focus on is Microsoft Sway. This is an application that allows you to create an online blog, and this is what we're going to be using for this class. So you want to click on Microsoft Sway. Once you have Microsoft Sway open, you'll see that there are some thumbnails up here at the top. You want to go to the one that says More Templates first so you can see all of the templates here. And just like your instructions say for this assignment, you're either going to click on Blog Enhanced or you're going to click on Blog Standard. Both of these are going to be what you want to use for this particular assignment. So I'm going to click on Blog Standard. And so this one is just your generic blog. Everything in here is editable. It's going to actually give you a little bit of information on how to use this blog and what its purposes are. You can read this over if you want a little bit more information on how to edit and all that other good stuff that goes on in here. It is actually pretty useful, but this is also a blog template, as you can see here. And so there are lots of pictures interspersed in between text, and this is what we want to see for your final blog for this particular assignment. Now, to edit this, you're simply going to click on the button that says Start Editing This Way. I'm going to scroll down so it's a little bit more clear, but it's always going to be right here, and you're going to go ahead and click on it. It'll prepare the template for you. Now, before you start doing anything with this blog, you need to make sure that your teammates have access to the blog as well. So, as I mentioned earlier, you want to make sure you go up here and share. That's the button you want to click on. And once you click on that, it'll give you a couple of different options here as far as like how to share it. But the main thing you want to make sure that is selected is to say that people can edit. So you want to make sure that you switch it from view to edit, because remember, your teammates need to edit this information. Now, the other thing you want to make sure that you do is click on those in your organization with the link. This means that you can only send the blog to other Broward College students in your group. That also means that you need to use their Broward College email. I can't stress that enough. You need to use the Broward College email. Do not use any personal email accounts, or else the people who you're sending it to will not be able to access this blog. Even if you click on the one that says anyone with a link, because this product, this application is tied to Broward College, only people who have a Broward College email will be able to access this blog. So you can either select those within your organization or anyone with the link, and you want to go ahead and copy this link, open up your Broward College email account, and send it to your student's email. You can also send it in D2L. So if you don't know your group member's email address for Broward College, you can open up D2L, go to your class roster, and send it via D2L to your group mates. As long as they have this link and as long as the link is labeled to edit, they should be able to access this Microsoft Sway blog, and they should be able to edit and also help along with your creative process. So please make sure that that's the first thing you do before you start editing anything in this blog assignment. You're going to notice a couple of things here. They have where and these boxes. I'm trying to figure out what to call them, but they're essentially boxes. You can edit anything inside of these boxes. So you can basically put your blog title here, which I'm just going to choose COVID-19 voting, and you can add these text boxes. So you can basically add in another subtitle down here. You have your text box down here where you can add a lot of the details, such as your introduction. And then as you go, you see that they have some image options here as well. So all of these you can delete and change everything that's in here to suit the needs of your blog. If you need to delete something, You can come up top here and just hit the trash can button for any one of these in case you no longer need them for your blog that you're editing. And even with the images, you can click on the image itself and it will give you the option to either delete this or change out the image. If you're having difficulty, I would just say go ahead and delete this, and then you can come up here and add a box, and it'll ask you what kind of box you want, and you can just go with image. And this will allow you to add images of your liking as well as add a caption to the image in the blog. So once again, it's very simple to set this up. As long as you have your blog already written, you can simply come in here and just drag and drop this information and edit to your liking without having to go through too much trouble to get things the way that you want them. All right, so let's go back to the template page that we were just on earlier, and we're going to go to Blog Enhanced. Blog Enhanced works the exact same way. If you scroll through, you'll see that they have some pictures, they have some text. It's pretty much all laid out this way for you. And whenever you're ready, you can click Start Editing this way. It will open up the template and make everything available for you to edit. And you want to go ahead and drop in your title, as well as the text for your blog, some images, and these text boxes with the images are going to break up the text itself. So if you want to intersperse images with text, you want to make sure that you always add a box for your image that is separate from the text because they can't go together in the same boxes. Same thing applies. You need to share this with your teammates. You have to make sure this says edit, and then make sure that you copy the link and send it to them directly from your Broward College email, or send it to them within D2L, however you find it necessary. You just want to make sure that they are able to access it in a way that's going to be efficient for them. Now, with this one, same thing applies. If I want to delete this area here, I can go in here and delete each one of these images until I have it down to the number that I want, or I can just delete the image outright and add in my own image that makes more sense for my particular blog title. So, just to recap, we've already gone over the fact that you need to draft and edit your blog using Microsoft Word before you even put it into Sway. We've already gone over how to access Microsoft Sway from your Broward College One login, and Microsoft Sway is located inside of Office 365, which you have access to online. And we've also gone over how to get your team members to edit the blog. One team member will have to be the first person to go in and basically select the template and share it with the other team members, but it is something that one person will have to do before you guys can all start working cooperatively. Now we're going to go into using images within the blog. I've already kind of shown you a little preview of Microsoft Sway earlier, where when you create an image text box, or I'm sorry, an image box within the blog, it actually gives you a pop-out panel that shows a searchable box that you can look up images from within Microsoft Sway. But there are lots of other places that you can find images outside of Microsoft Sway. And I do have to note that images, a lot of them that you find online, do have a copyright. What does that mean? That means that the person who took the photo or uploaded the image retains some level of ownership of that image, and they may not give you permission to share that image. So copyright laws do apply. You want to make sure that any image you find and you decide to use in the blog, that you are actually allowed to use for this blog. We will be checking these images to ensure that they are within copyright range. So you have to make sure that whatever image, I'm going to repeat it again, whatever image you choose for the blog needs to have permission for you to use it. And I'm going to show you places where you can find what they call Creative Commons, which these are all license free images that you can utilize within the blog, and you won't have to worry about whether or not you're allowed to use these images. There are laws that restrict the usage of images that you find online, and we don't want to cross any of those boundaries within this class, so please make sure that you are searching responsibly when sourcing images for your blog. So, places to find images for the blog. There are such things as photo sharing websites. Photo sharing websites include web domains such as Flickr, Creative Commons, and Wikimedia. And the reason why I mention photo sharing websites is because they are a really great place to start if you're uncertain about whether or not you're allowed to use that image in your blog, because a lot of the images you'll find on these platforms have a very clearly written out license that tells you what you can and cannot do with that image. Google Images is another great place to find images. However, not everything that is found on Google Images can be used freely, and I will show you how to narrow down your searching for those images that fall under Creative Commons so that you can use them in your blog. And the last one was Microsoft Sway, which you've already seen a little preview of, but we'll go back over how to ensure that you're looking at Creative Commons images in Microsoft Sway so that you can be certain that whatever image you find, you are actually able to use that image. So let's get started with photo sharing websites. All right, to get started with the first photo sharing website, we're going to visit Flickr, and that's just simply typing in a Google search for Flickr, and you're going to see the first link up there is flickr.com. So you're going to go ahead and click on that. And this doesn't require any kind of membership or anything like that. You can use it for free. There's a search box up here, and so you can type in something such as, let's see, earthquake. Now, any one of these images, if you're not sure if you are able to use them, let's say for instance I want to click on this first one here. It'll bring me to the image directly where I can see, um, a crack in the road here. You have down here the author or the photographer or the person who uploaded this, the title, and then they have a little description here. And then you can look over to the right where you see this little C here that says all rights reserved. Anytime you see the all rights reserved, that simply tells you straightforward you cannot use this image. You don't have the right to use the image. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to scroll down to the explanation down here where it says all rights reserved, and this basically tells you that the copyright holder reserves all rights provided under copyright law. So if you see anything that says all rights reserved, don't use it. It's not for you to utilize in your blog. This person does not give you permission to use their work in any other place outside of Flickr. So this is a very clear sign that this is one of those images I cannot use. Let me go back, and since technically my search was originally for voting because that was my original topic, if you are not someone who wants to click on every single image to verify if you have any kind of rights to use them, a really easy way is to filter that out. So you can go to any license up here and click on where it says all Creative Commons. And this means that any image that's remaining, I should be able to use that information. So these are all going to be those images that I'm allowed to use. So if I click on this one here, I can scroll down. Once again, you have the name of the person who uploaded the image, also the photographer. You have the title of the image here, but then you also have over here to the right some rights reserved. And so you can see these little icons here, and I'm going to click on that, and this gives me a very clear explanation of what I can do with this image. It says you are free to share, meaning you can copy and redistribute the material in any medium or format. So this is really easy to use, really easy to determine if you are able to use that image in your blog. So that's going to be something that you want to make sure that you pay attention to, is whether or not you have the right to use this information. If you feel like this is the image for you, go ahead and download it over here to the right. You can click download, but just make sure that as you are downloading the image, you are also saving the URL for that image, because that is what you're going to need to include when you cite your images. Yes, you do need to cite your images, even though they're not going to be a part of your paper. Images still require a citation because you have to give credit to where you found that image. So this is going to be really important to remember. Please save the URL for where you found the image in a Word document, whatever is easy for you and your team. It still needs to be saved. So if I were to go to another image sharing website such as Creative Commons, that's a quick Google search. You can see that there's a creativecommons.org website. I'm going to click on that. And for Creative Commons, all you have to do is come up here to the top to search for Creative Commons images. And I'm just going to click on, I'm just going to type in, voting rights. So for this one, you want to make sure once again that if you click on any one of these images, it's going to tell you right over here to the right, the image has been marked with this license, and it says you have to credit the creator. It's for non-commercial uses, meaning you can't sell this image, and no derivatives or adaptations, meaning that you can't change the color or make this crop it out or anything like that. You just have to use the image as is, and all this is explained when you click on the link to view the license information. But this to me tells me already that I'm allowed to use it so long as I credit the creator. And so you see the person's name right here, the title of the image right here, and then you also have the URL, which is going to be important to utilize as well. So you want to make sure that you save this URL somewhere, and make sure that as you are downloading these images, you have a way to connect the image with the URL that you're saving. Both of these are going to be extremely important to utilize in the future. Same thing applies once more if I were to go to Wikimedia Commons, which is a great website to utilize as well. I can click on Wikimedia Commons right here. It'll bring me to the website, and then I can search in their search box up here and maybe type in something like voting booth. And so you can see here that they have a couple of different images. Let's try this one, voters at the voting booths in 1945. And this is going to give me a copy of the image. But if I want to see the information to utilize for this image, I'm going to have to click on it. So initially I clicked on the image directly, and then I clicked on the link for this image, and as you can see, it gives me a way to download this image directly. But also information about the image is located right here. So I can see the description, which is going to be useful. I can also see the date, and then I can also see the source, which is the Library of Congress. So this is who has uploaded the image and made it available for me to utilize for free. Anything you find on Wikimedia Commons, you have permission to utilize. So this is a really easy way to find images that are Creative Commons that you're able to use. So these are just three of the major image sharing websites that are out there that you can utilize. Also, we did mention Google Images. So for Google Images, all you're going to do is type in images.google.com, and this will bring you to Google Images here. And so for this one, I'm going to type in voting booth again. And so with this here, all of these, if I click on this one here, you're going to always notice a little message down here that says images may be subject to copyright, and this is Google's way of alerting you to the fact that they're not responsible if you use this image and it's not within your copyright permission to utilize. So one way to make sure that you're getting the images that you can use through Google is to go into the tools section up here, and that's going to open up a new set of options, and then you have usage rights right here, which once you click on it, you want to select the ones that say labeled for reuse. And so once I click on that, Now, any image that I see in here, I know that I have permission to reuse that image. So if I click on, let's say for instance, this one here. If I'm using this image here through Google, I need to go directly to the website and find out information from that website to create my citation. So in this instance, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the image, and the image will bring me directly to the website where I can either right click and save the image, or I can find some other way to download it and screen capture it. But either way, you have to make sure you go directly to the website in order to get the information you need to use and cite this image. If I were to go back to my search results, there are a lot of images in here, such as, let's say, for instance, this one here, where if I click on the link for the image, it brings me back to Wikimedia Commons, which is a website that we are already familiar with. So this one's going to be one in which I'm going to make sure that I use the information located within Wikimedia Commons to create a citation for my image. And so that's how you want to utilize Google Images to find images that you have permission to use. But do keep in mind that a lot of them are going to be on Creative Commons, a lot of them are going to be through Wikimedia Commons, and a lot of them are going to be through Flickr. So you can either go directly to those websites or you can find your images by using Google Images. The last one that we need to go over is Microsoft Sway. So I'm going to use the example of this blog that we were looking at earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to come here and add an image. So I have this image box here, and I need to go ahead and search for my image. So I'm going to search for voting. Alright, so I have the search results pulled up for voting, and when you click on any of the images here, you see a message that pops up from Microsoft Sway that says that you are responsible for respecting others' rights, including copyright. And so this is just them letting you know that even though you are including this image in your Microsoft Sway blog and it might be Creative Commons, you still need to make sure that you give credit to the person who owns this image. So if I want to look at any of these images here, let's say for instance, I'm going to select another one, this first one up top here. In order for me to verify who owns this image or where this image is located so that I can give credit to the person who owns this image, I'm going to have to click on the link that pops up down here. So when I click on that link, it actually brings me to a Wikipedia website, and then you have the image right here, which I'm going to click on, and this is actually going to pull up the details that I need. It's actually going to show me what the copyright is for this one that I can click on, and then also tells me who took this picture as well as what is being described in this picture. So all these details are what I'm going to use when I'm creating the citation for this image. You can always download this image as well directly from Wikipedia, so long as you're giving correct credit and attribution to the person who created this image. So that's something that we want to make sure we start utilizing and practicing as we are using people's information that we find on the internet. So just to recap, you can get images through Microsoft Sway. You can use them in Microsoft Sway, but you still have to give credit. And in order to find the information to provide credit to the photographers, you actually have to go to where the image is located and pull up that information yourself in order to make your citation. So we've talked a great deal about where to locate these images that you're allowed to use in your blog, but we haven't necessarily gone over how to cite these images, which is just as important as locating the image itself. So, images from an image sharing website. These are going to have a specific citation format, which you can see laid out here in front of you. The first thing that shows up in that citation is the name of the photographer, and sometimes people don't use their full name. Sometimes they use a an abbreviation. Sometimes they use a screen name that they make up. There are lots of ways that people come up with names for online, but you want to type it out and spell it exactly as it appears. The next thing you want to do is the title of the image. So a lot of these images will have official titles that you can utilize, and you need to put them in quotation marks. If the image does not have a title and it just has a description, then I would say just copy over the description and put that in place of the title. You don't have to put a quotation mark around a description of the image. The other thing is you have to put the name of the website. So we mentioned Wikimedia Commons, which is one. This could be Creative Commons, this could be Flickr, but it has to have the name of the website in italics, and then you have the date that this was published. This is an MLA style, keep in mind. If you're using APA, then go ahead and make an appointment with the librarian, and we can walk you through how to cite images using APA citation style. The last two things you need are the website URL, and because this is MLA, we have to remove the HTTP. So you remember earlier I said we had to save those URLs for any image that we find, because this information is going to be essential and useful. And the last thing would be the date of access. So that means that we want to know what day did you go to look at this image, because images do change over time. You also want to make sure that you're putting the date of access, because maybe the person who published the image might have removed it. And so we need to know what day did you look at it, so that in case there's any issue with finding the image, we don't have too far to go, because we can at least see when was the last time you went to that website to download the image. This is an example down here. Same thing. You have the person's screen name here. Then you have the title. This could also be the description, but because it was the title, I put it in quotation marks. You have the title of the website, the date, and then you also have the link, the URL link for the actual image, and then the date that you went on the website right there. So these are going to be just the major components of how to cite an image when you're using an image sharing website, such as the ones that we discussed earlier. If you're finding if you're finding images from Google Images, or if you're taking images directly from a website, you're going to want to cite it a little bit differently, but not that much different. So the major difference is going to be that you're going to put a description of the image rather than putting the image title in quotation marks. And then you're also not going to have any kind of access date. So let's go over and look this one over. You have the name of the photographer right here, which could also be someone's screen name. Then you have the description of what is going on in the image. Then you have the photograph, which is the medium of the image. So you want to let the reader know, what are they looking at? Are they looking at a graph? Are they looking at an infographic? Is it a photograph? Is it a digital image, such as a 3D drawing? What is it that they're looking at? Then you have the name of the website in italics. And then you also have the date that this was published. And then you have the link that brings the person directly to the image if they want to look at it. So these are going to be the major components of what makes up an image citation for what you find on Google Images. Because remember, the major difference is image sharing websites only contain images. Google Images has stuff from image sharing websites as well as from regular web pages that their main purpose is for information purposes. So you want to make sure you cite them a little bit differently. Second example down here, you can see the person's last name, first name, the title or the description here, and then you have the title of the website where it's located, the date that it was published, and then a link to the location online that the user can use to get directly to that particular piece of information. Now, when it comes to putting your citation in the image, you want to make sure that you use the caption area over here for your image box. So I'm going to add an image really quickly. Let's say I will add this one here, and I'm going to make sure I open up that link to it so I can see where this is coming from. But I'm going to go ahead and click add. It says I have two images selected, so I'm going to try to deselect one of them. and just add the one. So this is the one image here. If I want to use this image, I need to create a citation for this image. So what I need to do is find out who the photographer is, and in this instance, I don't see any photographer whatsoever. I also don't see any author for this blog, so, or I'm sorry, for this website. So I'm going to skip over that information. Fortunately for me, this image already comes with a description, so I'm going to copy it over as they have it there. I'm going to go to my blog and I'm going to paste this description into my blog. The next thing that I need to note is the medium, or the medium of the image, and this is simply a photograph. So I'm just going to type in the words photograph right there. The next thing I need is the name of the website. So this is from Lumen, and I also need to find out when this was published. So I don't see any type of publication date at all. So what I need to do is just go ahead and put the name of the website here in italics. So it's Lumen. And then I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to drop in the link that will lead directly to that source, but I have to remove the HTTP. And the last thing I need to do is, because this source does not necessarily have a date that this was uploaded, I need to put a date of access. So even though there's a date within the caption here, I don't know when this photograph was put on the website, so I can't give a date for publication. So I'm just going to go ahead and put, I'm sorry, I have to remove the italics. Accessed, and we're going to say 20 May 2020. And this is my completed citation for this image, and this goes in the captions box next to the image. So if I go to my sway, or I'm sorry, my blog, you're going to see that the image shows up here, and then that is the clear citation that appears right beneath the image right there. There's also a live link, so that if I click on it, I should be taken directly to the website where I can view the image and the copyright information for myself. Alright, so we have gone over a couple of different things, such as how to create your Microsoft Sway blog, how to find images for the blog, how to cite those images, and how to insert the citation within your blog. Now we're going to have to go into how to share your blog. So one thing you want to do is make sure that your blog is shareable to the rest of the class, or else your classmates will not be able to review and comment your blog. So when you have completed the blog assignment and everything looks perfect and to your liking, and you get approval from your professor to post the blog, you want to make sure you come up to share up here again, and you want to make sure that view is selected, so you're not inviting people to edit any longer, you just want them to view it. And then you want to make sure that it says anyone with a link can view. This will make sure that no matter if your classmate is viewing the blog from their cell phone or from, a laptop or a tablet, that they don't necessarily have to be logged into their D2L in order to view the blog all the time. They can copy the link and save it to view later. So you want to make sure that anyone with the link is able to view the blog. You want to copy that link, and this is the link that you will copy and paste into D2L for the blog assignment. So what does that look like? I'm going to copy this here. Alright, now I'm inside of D2L. I simply need to go into the Assessments tab. I need to go into Discussions, which is where you're going to post your blog link. And then I'm going to scroll down until I see Blog Responses number 1. You have to click on this, and you essentially have to start a new thread. So when you start the new thread, enter the subject. The subject is simply going to be the title of your blog. And then you're going to paste the link there, and make sure you put your teammates' names as well as your names as well, just to make sure people have an understanding of who contributed to this blog. And once you hit post, all of your classmates should be able to click on this link with no trouble whatsoever, and they should be able to view the blog in its entirety. Here are some additional tips and resources to help you with this assignment. One of the first tips I have is to make sure that you're using file sharing apps. This is going to ensure that everyone in your team has access to the blog and access to the information that you're trying to share. Some file sharing apps includes Google Docs or Google Drive, which everyone should be able to access. You can also use Microsoft Teams, or you can also use an application called Slack, which is located both on your phone as well as your laptop. All of these applications allow you to share files, images, notes, links, whatever it is that you want to keep all in one spot for your classmates to utilize. You can use these file sharing applications to do. The other tip that I have is to get help from the Writing Center. Writing tutors are available to help you with grammar and content for this blog assignment. So, as a librarian, I'm not necessarily an expert on grammar or content, but the writing tutors are. And writing tutors are available completely online and for free. So, I'm highly suggesting that you definitely utilize the tutoring services available at Broward College and contact a writing tutor for help with writing your blog, especially if you're struggling to write your thesis or if you're just struggling to write the content for your blog. People at the Writing Center can help you. The very last thing that you need to do with regards to this assignment is make an appointment with me. I'm your librarian. If you need help with the research, the citation, if you need help troubleshooting any issues that you have with the blog assignment, particularly with Microsoft Sway, because I know a lot of people are new to that application, make an appointment with me. It's very easy to utilize. If you're inside of D2L, all you're going to do is go to where it says Resources, click on Library Resources. This page should already be familiar to you based on the last video, but instead of coming to Article Quick Search, we're going to scroll past that and we're going to go to where it says Research Appointments right here. So I'm going to click on Research Appointments, and that's going to pull up a calendar that has all of the librarians and all the times that a librarian is available to help you. If you need me in particular, you can click on Tiffany Walker, and that should give you all of my availability with the times that I'm available. And once you click on any one of these, click continue. It's a really short form that you fill out. You pretty much let me know what you need help with. You can upload files if you need to, and you'll get a link that will come to the email address that you put in here, and the link will lead you to our Zoom meeting. So I'll meet with you online via Zoom. It's very simple, very easy, very straightforward, and the best 30 minutes that you will spend out of your day getting help for this assignment. So, those are the three main tips and pointers that I have to be successful with this assignment. If you have any further questions, please contact me via D2L. You have my direct contact information. I'm in your class roster. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to email me directly via D2L.